because number one, like the way we live now, we're all very lonely. Mm-hmm. Believe it, like compared to our ancestors, the level of like connection and communication, it barely exists in our society today.
I think communication exists far more than it ever has.
You think so?
100%.
Why you say
that?
You
can talk to anybody wherever in the world at any time. But
how? Okay, so I forgot I was reading. What was I reading? It was basically saying that intelligence is a function of it was 48 laws of power. Intelligence is a function of intensity, not extensity. Intensity meaning finding one thing, drilling deep into it, right? Like having a fucking guy who's just like a scientist. This is all he knows. Nikola Tesla, Elon Musk, engineering, and they're intelligent in that. Extensity is people who, let's say, for example, a Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan knows a bunch about a bunch of things, but he's not an Elon Musk, or he's not a some of these like smart philosophical people you have on the show. Mm-hmm. The same way I feel about human communication. Like we could communicate with a lot of people, mm-hmm. but the communication is very extensive, is very surface based, as opposed to living in a tribe.
But I think the whole between Joe Rogan and Elon Musk thing, like Joe Rogan is on the same level with podcasting as Elon Musk is in rocket science.
Right.
You know, so it's like they both put their energy into these things. Like Joe Rogan's a professional speaker. Elon Musk is not a professional speaker. You know, Elon Musk is a professional rocket scientist, mm-hmm. but give him a mic and episodes of podcasts, you might eventually get something good, but
most likely you're not.
But the thing is, he's so focused on rocket science.
I see what you're saying. I guess I'm not trying to refer to the point that Joe Rogan is a professional podcaster, but it's like Joe Rogan's knowledge in science mm-hmm. is not as deep as Elon Musk is.
Right.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm sure you have very close connections with certain people, mm-hmm. but I feel like who's those people that still ride around on horses and stuff today?
Amish people?
I feel like there has been trials done where they allowed people to live with the Amish mm-hmm. and they return back to regular society, and a lot of them say, "Yo, I just want to go back there," because that lifestyle has a lot more meaning. I feel more connected to people.
That makes sense.
I mean, you probably don't agree with it, but I truly feel like we lack connection in today's society because it is so readily accessible.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see what you're saying there, but what I have to say to that is, I think that's up to you. You could definitely have like how Joe Rogan has all these people that he knows like on a surface level, but then he has those people that he has that deep connection with. But there's definitely more chance for more deep connection because of all the people he knows. Like if you're a village, I don't know how Amish people live. They got 100 people in their village, and you know every single one of them, and then there's just no expanding from there.
So do you think the numbers kind of lead you to take people for
Ezekiel
advantage
or something? He's like, "Oh, my name's Ezekiel."
But do you think
that's my impression of Amish people? I don't know.
But you said Ezekiel. I thought you were talking about Zeke. I'm like, what? But
Elliot,
do you think the choices lead us to being just take people for advantage? Like, for example, living in New York City, I'm not gonna say no one has connections, but like they definitely have connections with their people. Mm-hmm. But for example, in Trinidad, like you know all your neighbors,
right? And
you're close with all of them. But in America, I feel like for me personally, maybe I'm speaking from my perspective, right? The people that lived in my building, if we didn't grow up as kids together, like chilling and shit, and we had that relationship, I wasn't really trying to forge a relationship with these mm-hmm. people. As opposed to like when I moved to New Jersey and it's a smaller neighborhood, we moved in and the neighbors came and they bought gifts and they took their time to have a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
So location is the thing then.
I mean location, but yeah, definitely.
Ever told on a nigga? No. Ever squeezed the trigger? Yep. Ever set a nigga up? No. Ever helped a brother out when he was down on his luck?